Good morning, Madam and all of my friends. Thank you for the opportunity given. Today I will presentation about adaptive leadership. What is adaptive leadership? Adaptive leadership is about how leaders encourage people to adapt, to face and deal with problems, challenges, and change. Adaptive leaderships focus on the adaptations required of people in response to changing environments. In contrast to emphasizing the position or characteristic of the leader, this definition suggests that leadership is concerned with the behaviors of leaders. Adaptive leaders engage in activities that mobilize, motivate, organize, orient, and focus the attention of others. Hayford's 1994. Conceptually, the process of adaptive leadership incorporates ideas from four different viewpoints. The first is a systems perspective, a biological perspective, a service orientation perspective, and a physiotherapy perspective. Hayford's 1994. Number one, a system perspective. Adaptive leadership takes a system perspective in that this approach assumes that many problems people face are actually embedded in complicated interactive systems. Number two, a biological perspective. The biological perspective of adaptive leadership recognizes that people develop and evolve as a result of having to adapt to both their internal state and external environments. The ability to adapt allows people to thrive in new circumstances. Number three, a service orientation perspective. Similar to a bicycle, an adaptive leader use his or her expertise or authority to serve the people by diagnosing their problems and helping them find solutions. Number four, a physiotherapy perspective. This approach incorporates the physiotherapy perspective to explain how people accomplish adaptive work. Adaptive leadership helps individuals and organizations adapt and thrive in the face of challenge and prepare them to take on the process of change. This leadership approach involves diagnosing, interrupting, and innovating as a means of creating capabilities that align with the aspirations of an organization. It is defined by a framework of three key determinants: precious versus expendable. When a business is in transitions, the fundamental question arises: what worth keeping and what isn't? In order to move forward, an adaptive leader knows it's necessary to let go of elements that once seemed precious, especially if they no longer serve the organization. Experimentation and smart risk. Here's where an adaptive leader directs and encourages creativity and innovation that aligns with the organization's goals and objectives. This is about developing and testing the next steps forward, but also about learning from mistakes and rolling with the punches. Discipline assessment. The trial phase for developing new approach to operating the organization is over. Now it's time to integrate this next practice and smart risk into the organization. At this stage, adaptive leaders carefully monitor the impact of new system and process. report their findings, and work with the teams to make any necessary adjustment for improvement. This is the model of adaptive leadership. Uh, Situational challenge have a technical and adaptive challenge. Adaptive challenge. Leader behavior have 6 points. Number 1, get on the balcony. Number 2, identify the adaptive challenge. 3, regulate distress. 4, maintain discipline attention. 5, give the work back to the people. 6, protect leadership voice from below. And in adaptive work, holding environment leader to follower interaction. Technical and adaptive challenge. Adaptive leadership recognize that there are two kinds of problem, technical and adaptive. With technical problems, a satisfactory predetermined response is already available, and one or more experts who possess solid reputations are sought to address the issue. Overall, technical problems are mechanical and can be solved by professionals. With adaptive problems, they are absolute no trained expert to deal with the problem at hand. Also, no set of established rules or procedure exists to address the issue. In most cases, the definition of the problem is vague and there aren't any technical fix. It isn't in such situations that the expertise of an adaptive leader become useful. Such an individual first helps to define the problem and the mobilize his CO workers to come up with possible answers. Leader behavior. Get on the balcony. A prescript for the other adaptive leader behavior. Getting on the balcony is a metaphor for stepping out of the fray and finding perspective in the midst of a challenging situation. Identify adaptive challenge. Leader must analyze and diagnose this challenge. Central to this process is differentiating between technical and adaptive challenge. Failures in the leadership often occur because leaders fail to diagnose challenge correctly. Regulate distress. A third behavior or activity important for adaptive leader is regulating distress. By psychological, we all have a need for consistency to keep our belief, attitudes, and values the same. Maintain discipline attention. For the fourth leader behavior prescribed by the adaptive leadership process is to maintain discipline attention. This means that the leader needs to encourage people to focus on the top work they need to do. Give the work back to the people. Leaders need to be aware of and monitor the impact they have on others. Giving work back to the people requires a leader to be attentive to when he or she should drop back and let the people do the work that they need to do. Protect leadership voice from below. This final leader behavior means that adaptive leaders have to be carefully to listen and be open to the ideas of people who may be at the front, marginalized, or even deviant within the group or organization. Adaptive work. Adaptive work is the process towards which adaptive leaders direct their work. It is the focus and intended goals of adaptive leadership. Adaptive work developed from the communication process that occur between the leader and follower, but is primarily the work of followers. Ideally, it occurs within a holding environment where people can feel safe as they confront possible change in their roles, priorities, and values. How does, how does adaptive leadership work? Adaptive leadership is a complex process comprising multiple dimensions, including situational challenge, leader behaviors, and adaptive work. The overriding focus of the process is to engage individuals in doing adaptive work. Adaptive leadership centers on adaptations required of people in response to changing environments and how leaders can support them during this change. Principle of adaptive leaderships. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your own feelings and those of other people. With this awareness, an adaptive leader is able to build trust with other participants and foster quality relationships. Organizational justice. Adaptive leaders know the best policies to introduce for the good of organization. They also know the best ways to introduce these changes so that the people embrace them. Adaptive leaders are willing to accommodate other people's views, hence assuring them that they are valued and respected. Development, adaptive leadership, and learning new things. If one technique is not yielding desired result, an adaptive leader goes out of his or her way to discover new strategies that can work. With new techniques, both the employee and the company at large will experience growth and development. Character. Adaptive leadership is about having a deep sense of character, being transparent and creative. Adaptive leaders may not always be right, but they earn the respect of those they work with and practice what they recommend. Strengths. First, in contrast to many other leadership theories, adaptive leadership takes a process approach to the study of leadership. Second, adaptive leadership stands out because it is follower-centered. Adaptive leaders mobilize people to engage in adaptive work. Third, adaptive leadership is unique in how it directs authority to help followers deal with conflicting values that emerge in changing work environment and social context. Another strength of adaptive leadership is that it provides a prescriptive approach to leadership that is useful and practical. Finally, adaptive leadership make a unique contribution to the field of leadership study by identifying the concept of a holding environment as an integral part of the leadership process. Weakness. First, very little empirical research have been conducted to test the claim of adaptive leadership theory, even though the conceptual framework for this approach was set forth more than 20 years ago in Harvard's Leadership Without Easy Answers, 1994. Second, conceptualization of the process of adaptive leadership needs future refinement. Third, adaptive leadership can be criticized for being too wide-ranging and abstract. Finally, from a theoretical perspective, the adaptive leadership framework hints at but does not directly explain how adaptive leaders incorporate a moral dimension. Okay, this is the last conclusion. Adaptive leadership is a way of working in which the leader becomes a guide or director for his followers in an organization so that they can adapt to the exciting environment. Not only that, but adaptive leadership also means that the leader must be able to identify problems, correct, and finds the right solution for the organization. Okay, that's all from my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Good morning and see you.